Hey guys, it's Shah here, the Tech Borg, and I'm continuing my video from the last one. As you can see, it took me like a solid half an hour to think about this, as you can see from the time. So I've been thinking about it. Obviously, I've been watching some YouTube videos to help me out. But I mean, now I've understood really where the problem is. It wasn't actually with the square root or anything. It was within like syntax, I guess. So rather than using the square root, we should really just use the disk 0.5, and this also works as well. You don't have to split it up, you can do it in one line. That's what I've discovered so far, and I mean, it's working, but there are some minor issues, which makes it unusable at the same time, because, I mean, it's very good at finding the things that doesn't have a solution. For example, this doesn't have a solution, so it says no solutions. But let's say you had something like x plus 1 whole square, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1, so a is 1, b is 2, and c is 1. As you can see, it says no solution, but no, we know that x is minus 1 as a solution, so there's clearly something wrong with the program, and that's an issue I need to go over. And I think in the next video, what I'm going to show you is how to debug, so the idea of breaking down your code into sections, and then changing your code according to that to break down. And that's what I was doing just when I paused the video. So I broke the code down, and then I looked at the sections which were working. So all this section was working, and even the discriminant function was working. And then after this, it went haywire. So the issue lies obviously somewhere over here. And yeah, let's actually think of something that we might get a solution for. So I mean, this says -2, -8, no solution. So as you can see, there are quite a few issues with the program, and the only way, see, that what the else statement does is just disregards everything else other than that else. I think this is meant to be else if. I think that's why it's ruining it. I'm not sure, but I don't think that really changes anything. So if I do 5 to 5, it still says no solutions. And okay, that actually doesn't have a solution. But let's say you had 4, 1, 4. That definitely has solutions. Actually, no, it doesn't. What am I saying? Okay. So if we had 1, 4, and 1, that definitely has solution. But it's saying 0 to 3, and it's giving some kind of range. I mean, so let's say, so b squared is 16 minus 4, which is 12, and according to this should do 12 to the half minus 4, which is about I have no idea which is about. I think what this does is actually gives you a range of where the solution is rather than what the solution is. I mean, that's what I'm thinking right now, because how C++ works is, if your inputs are integers, the outputs are also integers. That's how it works. So it always tries to give you like this, it tries to maintain consistency, which is great, but it's not useful, especially if you're just trying to get the full answer. You only accept integers, but you want to get the full answer, right? So I mean, sometimes it's just questionable to what extent is C++ actually really useful compared to Python. And like I've always said, I mean, Python is way more easier. So as you can see, I have encountered quite a few issues making this code, but until this point, the code is working fine, and then after that, it just goes haywire. So for example, let me just copy this code. Let me copy everything into here and delete it now. And then let's say we output the discriminant. Let's see if the discriminant is even right. In the first place, I'm very sure it is, because I've already checked this. But I mean, it could be wrong. So let's try it. So A is, let's make it 1. Let's make B 5, and let's make C 1. Well, we know that 5 squared is 25, minus 4 is 21. So 21 is right. So as you can see, the discriminant function is working. What the error is, it must be somewhere in here. And clearly I have no idea where that error even begins, because I've just replaced these lines so many times to try and improve it. For example, this one before I had, it was square root of discriminant, but that clearly doesn't work. The square root function does not work properly on this. I'm not sure what version of C++ or whatever this is, but it's not working. And yeah, so the only workaround would be to, I guess I'm going to show you in the next video anyway, which is to debug and break down the code. And right now I just showed you by breaking down the code that this section is working, and this section isn't working. And I mean, initially it was working, the code, and then I don't know what I did to it. I seriously messed it up. So if I stop this, and okay, so for example, if I remove this, okay, and run it now, as you can see, we got to this stage. So we enter 5, 10 and 1. So as you can see, so we know that the discriminant function is outputting 80, yes? So we know we did that correct. But when we power 80 to the half and do stuff with it, I think it just messes it up completely. Like, honestly, I think it messes it up. But wait a minute. Wait. Yes, I just realized it hasn't messed up anything. No, because although this section is actually wrong, it hasn't messed up anything because I forgot to put end out. Because then it's showing us both of our solutions. It's not a range, but your output will still always be a whole number. Because as I've told you before, it likes to maintain consistency. So if I run this now, it should work. Okay. So if I run this now, it should work. Not entirely, of course, because I've already showed you there's some errors, but this is what it works. It's working. That's all I'm gonna say. It gives you integers, but it partially works. It's a partially working solution. Not the best, but it works partially. So as you can see, we got the discriminant correct, and we got our two solutions. Clearly, they're rounded solutions. I'm pretty sure you can't get whole number solutions. B squared minus 4, you know, B squared. You'll get x squared plus 5x plus 1. They're definitely not integer solutions. And yeah, so as you can see, we have managed to calculate the solutions, but due to the love of C++ with consistency, we are unable to get it in an exact form, or at least in a decimal form, which we would prefer otherwise. But yeah. And like I said before, this is error, full of error, because, or is it? Let me check. So if we have 5, 1, and 5, this is minus 19. Oh my god, it's working. That's nice. Let's see if it's equal to 0 now. Now, this one is a real test, because do you remember when I said x plus 1 whole squared, it says no solutions? Now, if this says no solutions, then I know I've just something wrong, definitely. So that's 1 squared, 2, and 1. So as you can see, it gives you 0, but for some reason, it takes you to the no solution. So it takes you here for some reason when it's equal to 0. So that's very confusing, because I have specifically set an else if statement saying if the discriminant is 0, do this, but it's not doing that, which is very confusing, and I'm actually lost, to be honest, at this moment in time, now that I'm talking to you. But next video will definitely be about debugging, so I'm going to make sure I save this code and then show you how it's done. And as you can see, we solved most of the problem. It's just this region that needs to be solved. And yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.